actually drew it to get the attention of a girl and to get her to go out with me. This is my picture of Freddie Mercury. As you can see, it's a photocopy because you're not gonna believe what happened to the original. But this picture, I'm still waiting for payment on, and this was like 5-6 months ago. Hi everybody, drawninjakc here, and why am I yelling? I don't know. Well, actually I do know. I'm very excited because it has been about a year since I started my YouTube channel, and I must admit that my YouTube channel looks a lot different now than it did when I first started a year ago. A year ago, it was more like I started like a tutorial kind of channel where I would work on an easel and like Bob Ross, because that was my inspiration for the way I did things. Bob Ross. I always loved watching Bob Ross as a kid, so I figured, well, you know, I'll just start with an easel and then show people how to draw characters on the easel. For me, after doing a few videos of those, I realized that it wasn't my thing. I needed something else. I needed something to not only make me feel excited about doing it, but would come across very well to the YouTube watching audience. And for me, the easel thing wasn't coming across very well, because for me, if I didn't do it as well as Bob Ross and even better than Bob Ross, then why am I doing it at all? I watched a few videos of people doing hyper-realistic portraits or hyper-realistic drawings of soda cans or soda bottles or glasses, whatever. And I thought to myself, man, I could do that, but I have to learn how they do it. You just can't jump in. A little bit about me. I have a wide artistic background. I used to be a comic book illustrator. I used to be a graphic artist. I still do those things. One of the things that I do have is a wide knowledge of different mediums. All I needed to do was learn how to apply these mediums, or my knowledge of these mediums, to hyperrealism. So what did I do? I watched and watched and watched all the videos and kind of they were all fast, but I kind of just slowed them down in my mind. And I also watched a lot of how-to videos. And with the how-to videos, I learned quite a bit about the process of hyperrealism and realistic portraits. And so I figured it was time for me to give it a try, but I was not going to do it in video. I'm going to go through with you a few drawings that I did, and also the stories behind them. And I gotta tell you, they're hilarious. The stories are hilarious, you know, but don't judge me, okay? There's some interesting reasons why I drew certain pictures, and there's also funny reasons why I decided to draw some pictures. But don't judge me, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna start with I drew a picture of Luke Cage from the Netflix series Luke Cage. Now this was before I started kind of studying the other realistic portrait artists on YouTube. I figured, all right, let me see what I can do. So this is like mixed medium. This is, I think this is acrylic I used for the background and also for his hoodie. I think I might have used color pencil for his flesh tone. And I really didn't have a great knowledge of technique back then. This was about, I would say, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna go and say about 10 months ago. And this was my first attempt at hyperrealism when it comes to doing portraits. So it definitely showed that I really wasn't like that versed in techniques, but you know, I think it was a great first try. So after watching all the videos, I took about 2 weeks off to just learn, watching the videos, watching how-to videos, and so I would just accumulate all that knowledge and to just learn. So when I thought that I had enough knowledge to try it out, again, I would not have done it on camera, so I decided I would do a drawing but not record it, just to see if I could do this thing. And this was what happened. Pow! I did this Bruce Lee drawing, and with the Bruce Lee drawing, I realized I actually developed some techniques doing this drawing, and I figured if I can apply all these techniques to the other portraits, then they'll come out just as good and hopefully even better. So this was my first hyperrealism portrait, but I just didn't record myself doing it because I wanted to make sure I was able to do it. So that's Bruce Lee. This never got recorded. So what did I do now? I wanted to record myself drawing a very famous person, somebody who I think would probably, like, I wanted subscribers, so it had to be somebody who would probably be like the most famous person in the world. So who's more famous than Michael Jackson? So I decided to go ahead and start with the Michael Jackson portrait. At the time, I had this table that I was drawing on, and again, this was my very first portrait, my very first portrait video, and the table I was drawing on was kind of shaky. And one of the things that happened, when you're doing a lot of the varnishing and the drawing, the table started to shake a little bit, as you may see in the video. But it also allowed me to see where I was going wrong with with the drawings in terms of recording them. So one of the things that I realized that I was doing wrong with that video was I needed a more stable environment to draw. So also while looking at the video again, I realized that the other YouTubers who did portraits taped it down, and they were drawing around the portrait as opposed to moving the portrait around, which I was doing with my portraits at this time. I think I did this with 2 or 3 portraits, and at some point I realized, okay, that's what I'm doing wrong. I need to tape the portrait down and draw. I move around the drawing as opposed to moving the drawing around, so that the audience's eyes don't have to strain too much because the drawing is moving so much. So this was my first video, and it was a little shaky because again, you live and you learn. Okay, and then again, I was definitely going for the popular vote, right? So next person I drew, who's really just like soaking up so much clout at that time, it was Tekashi 69. Everywhere you go, everywhere you went, Tekashi. So I figured, let me draw Tekashi 69. So I found some source material on the internet, and I came up with this. Again, it was the beginning, so it was one of those videos where it was a little shaky, and I was turning the drawing around in order to get a better angle in order to apply the color pencil and things like that. But as you can see, the technique that I use with the Bruce Lee and the Michael Jackson still also works for here. So I figured, okay, I really have a set technique, and that's the one I'm going to use for all the drawings moving forward. Now, this drawing of Tupac has a very interesting story. I actually drew this to get the attention and the phone up. Well, I actually drew it to get the attention of a girl and to get her to go out with me. And you're not gonna believe what happened after I drew it. Well, in drawing it, I did get a phone number. This was back when I was an Uber driver. I would say this is maybe about a year ago. A beautiful girl gets into my car, and we start talking. I let her know I have a YouTube channel, and she was very, very nice person, very pretty girl, and I was driving her to her job, and I just wanted to talk to her more. And so what happened was, I said, I let her know I have a YouTube channel, and I told her, I said, you know what? I'll tell you what. You choose the next picture that I draw, and I'll draw that picture. And she was a big Tupac fan. So she said, does the person have to be alive? I said, no, anybody that you want me to draw, I'll draw. So for me, it was very important because this was a way to kind of keep us in touch. And she said Tupac. I said, fine. Then look at my YouTube channel, because she did subscribe when she was in the car. Look at my YouTube channel in about a week, and you'll see the Tupac. And at the end of the ride, our conversations went so well, she gave me her phone number, which I thought was really cool. She gave me her phone number, so I'm like, okay, I'm in. Now, between all the other drawings and everything, this one took the longest because I wanted to impress her so much that I took my time and to make sure that it looked the best. And I actually learned some new techniques that I used moving forward with this drawing. So, but we kept texting back and forth, and when I text her the drawing, she was flabbergasted. She was blown away. And of course, during those texts, I asked her if she'd like to go to a movie, and it's been 8 months. I'm still waiting for her reply. So, Imran Khan. This is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Now, I didn't know anything about this guy before I actually drew him. And when I say that, I mean like I walked into my local halal store, and let me fix this camera right here. I walked into my local halal store, and I saw this guy on camera, and he was speaking to an audience, and they were praising him, like it was high praise for this guy, like much love for this guy coming from like a stadium full of people. And I asked one of the workers there, I was like, who is this? Who's the guy on that TV? He's like, oh, that's Imran Khan. He's poised to be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. We all love him, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, wow, if I drew this guy, all the Pakistani people will look at my channel and view it and subscribe, and I'll be huge in Pakistan. So of course I enlisted the help of my friend, two of my friends, Queen Asfaq and Amira Asfaq, because they're both Pakistani, and so they know what's going on in Pakistan and stuff, to choose the right drawing to draw. I like, does this look like him, or does this represent him, whatever. So when I chose this drawing, shout out to Queen Asfaq and Amira Asfaq for helping me with this drawing. When I drew him, I got, I think, the most views that have gotten from all my videos that at that point. So with my other videos, it was like maybe a couple hundred views. This one went up to like 4,000 or 5,000 views, and still climbing. So shout out to the people of Pakistan for representing, and also for the views, and I definitely appreciate all the love and support you guys give for this portrait. So this was one of my favorites because it got like one of the most views on my website, and it also came out very well. And again, this seemed to be a trend with each I don't know, I can't even talk now. With each drawing, I learned a new technique that I would use on the other drawing moving forward in order to improve my ability to make these portraits look more real, more realistic. So living is learning, and I did learn a lot during this portrait as well. Okay, does anybody know what this is? If you don't know what this is, you need to be reading your Bible. This is Joel Osteen. I watch Joel Osteen just about every Sunday on TV. He is the pastor of Lakewood Church. And again, this was a portrait I did. And at this point, I'm going all for just views. And with YouTube, in order to get monetized, you have to have 4,000 hours and 4,000 hours of view, and also 1,000 subscribers. So at that point, I was just going for views. And I figured so many people know this guy, love this guy, including myself. I said I would draw him and put him up there, and everybody that ever looked at Lakewood would go and views, and I would have millions of views. Didn't turn out that way. Yes, Dasha Polanco. Very interesting story with this. Her best friend, this again, back when I was an Uber driver, her best friend, like one of her best friends, gets into my car and says, hey, I mean, this is of course after I let her know that I have a YouTube channel and I draw celebrities. And she said, well, hey, you should draw somebody that, is a star, but still humble enough to share your stuff on their page. And I'm like, yeah, but who is that? And she said, well, Dasha Polanco from, I was like, oh yeah, from Orange is the New Black, because I watched this show. She plays Dianera on the show. So she says, yeah, Dasha Polanco would be perfect. And then she goes into letting me know that she's good friends with her, and that if I draw it, she'll make sure that like she sends a link to her Twitter to let her know and to let her see it, and maybe she'll share it or whatever. So I'm like, cool. So I drew Dasha Polanco, Dianera from Orange is the New Black, and this is also one of my favorite drawings because it is very detailed, but it's also very smooth. And I realized that I was able to get a nice realistic portrait without a lot of texture, which is very good. So I really like this portrait for the simple fact that it does look really good, and it does have a lot of detail, but it also is very smooth. So this lady you guys are familiar with, the Mona Lisa. I was feeling very inspired by Leonardo da Vinci at this point, and I figured, why not, a good way to get views. I mean, a lot of people know the Mona Lisa would be to draw the Mona Lisa. So I did, and it came out very well. So I really liked how it came out. I'm not disappointed with this drawing at all. Okay, we have here Tokyo Ghoul. I got into this anime and just kind of like absorbed myself with it because it was so cool. My son came on one time and told me that his friend told him about it, and so I started watching it on Hulu and just totally fell in love with it. So, and then I realized that there's a lot of people that like this anime, so I figured, well, why not draw a picture of it? And this is an illustration. This is not, of course, a realistic portrait, because this is I was a little exercising my my comic book background, my comic book illustrator background. I just drawing this with pen and ink and coloring it with watercolor markers and so on. So I think this really came out really nicely. This guy here, I drew. I think his name is Nye. He's a pastor, and I drew a picture of him before when he was a kid. So it also, he also sent me this one to draw. So the first picture I drew, he paid me, and he sent it to me. I mean, he paid me, I sent it to him. But this picture, I'm still waiting for payment on, and this was like 5-6 months ago. So I think I've given up on receiving payment for it. Of course, now this is the immortal Stan Lee. Now, I did this out of a form of a tribute and also a form of respect and love for this man, because he's largely responsible for me becoming an artist because of all the superheroes and Marvel comics that he created. And it really hit my heart when I heard that he passed away. And so, as a form of therapy, I drew this picture of him. And I mean, I don't really shed tears for people outside of my family, but I'm mad enough to admit that I shed tears when he passed away because of what he meant to me as a person. And I was fortunate enough to have met him years ago at South Street Seaport. He signed an autograph for me, and for me that was like one of the pivotal moments of my life. His energy is amazing, and so I drew this picture in tribute to him for all the things he's given us and the world. So this is a person who's literally changed the world. One of the things I was testing out, again with my comic book background, I was doing some pen and ink stuff, and this is Captain Marvel. one of my pen and ink drawings. Right after that came Cardi B as Supergirl. Now the face I got from I got the source material for the face on YouTube, not YouTube. I got the source material for the face from Google, and I also looked up Supergirl and got that source material from Google as well. So I put Cardi B's face on a pose that Supergirl was doing, but I had to embellish a few things like the boobs, because Cardi B has like bigger boobs than Supergirl, so I had to embellish that and make the S around it. And so usually, you know, so when you see me do, sometimes when you see me do a realistic portrait, also Cardi B's hair wasn't really the same design like this. It was Supergirl's hair, but it was blonde, and so I kind of made this black like Cardi B's hair. So a lot of times when you see me do a drawing, sometimes I may put different things together to make the drawing look even more spectacular, which is what I did here. So you got Cardi B's face and Supergirl's costume, Cardi B's boobs, Supergirl's waist, Supergirl's hair, Cardi B's hair color, but Cardi B's face. But it all comes out to making a really awesome picture. So there you have it. Brawling! This guy causes such a rumble in the Dragon Ball Z community. It's ridiculous. The latest Dragon Ball Z movie, Dragon Ball Z Broly, inspired me to draw this picture, and it's crazy, that movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's an awesome movie. But this is also one of my pen and ink drawings. Again, going back to my comic book days, and one of the things that I do with this is that I'll do the drawing with pencils, ink it with pen with the black ink markers, and also just do the shadows and the highlights with pencils with a stump. So it brings a little bit of realism to it, but it's still pen and ink comic book style. Okay, so this is Angel from the X-Men. Now this is Angel from the back in the day X-Men, when they had the yellow and blue costume. So this is him from then, because he had a mask. And I deliberately put an M16 rifle in his hand, because for me Angel was always like the lamest X-Men character, because all he was able to do was fly. So I figured if he had an M16, he could fly and use his angel eyes. Like I think he could fly, but he also had like eyes like a hawk. So that would make him like a really good sniper. So this was a little bit, okay, the original Angel, but with my little touch. Whereas if I created Angel, he would be like this really badass sniper, because he can definitely fly up in the air, right, and get the drop on somebody from a high altitude. So that's why I drew the gun. This right here. So back in the day, back to the Guyver. This anime, I mean, if you can check it out, this anime just was amazing. It just started it all for me in terms of watching anime. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. So I've always loved this character. So the drawing actually evolves really well. So once you finish watching this video, you can check out my playlist, and you'll see the drawing that I did. This drawing evolved from going to a pencil into what it looks like now. It's really cool. And for you, video game fans, Bloodhound. Now, one of my reasons for drawing this, of course, the way it looks, is because I did see a lot of Bloodhound. I did see a lot of Bloodhound drawings on YouTube, but they were all drawings that were already like done from the video game company, and they're just copying it. So I decided that I would just learn all the doodads and doohickeys on him and just put him in an original pose, my own pose, and then do a drawing like that and try to make it as realistic as possible. And since he's a video game character, I did the pen and ink thing, but I went in with watercolor and also color pencils to add a realistic touch to it, to make it look like it's actually a real person. So I don't know, did I pull it off? I mean, it doesn't look 100% real because there is the pen and ink factor, but I think I added a pretty good bit of realism to it, no? Anyway, it was an original pose, and I haven't seen anybody else do an original pose of Bloodhound or any other Apex Legends character. So another Apex Legends character, Mirage. Again, this is completely original. I always wanted to go original with everything. So one of the things I did, this was like me drawing him 3 times because and you, in order for you to see how I got this effect, you're gonna have to watch the video. But Mirage is known for, of course, creating holograms. So I had to find a way to make him pop, but also bring out the holograms to make them look like they're holograms. So there's a very interesting technique I did with that. You'll probably be able to figure it out when you watch the video. 1,000 subscribers. This was done a couple weeks ago. When I reached 1,000 subscribers, it was done as like an appreciation, a thank you to the subscribers, the fans who who supported and who are still supporting and shares my videos and make comments and things like that. So I still appreciate you guys. I love you guys. It's awesome experience. And 1,000 subscribers plus 4,000 subscribers plus 4,000 hours of video time watch equals monetization. So that was really cool because I'd gotten the 4,000 hours before I got the 1,000 subscribers. So when I got the 1,000 subscribers, monetization, baby. Upcoming movie Hellboy. I decided I would draw this in response to that so that it could get a few views. So it did, and still getting views. So hopefully this will go into the millions and trillions. This is my picture of Freddie Mercury. As you can see, it's a photocopy because you're not gonna believe what happened to the original. The original, I made the mistake of giving my former wife a coupon for any portrait she wanted for Christmas. She somehow finds out, because she's a big Freddie Mercury fan, so she finds out that I'm drawing this, comes over to see it, and then whips out the coupon and says, "Mine." This is the one I want. I was like, "Wait on, come on." I was really drawing this actually for me. I was gonna put it up on my wall because I'm a big Freddie Mercury fan as well. But she's like, "Nope, you gave me a coupon and you said I could have any drawing I want. This is the one." So, needless to say, I had to give up the drawing. She loves it, which is good. We're very good friends. She did get her prize, and she got it framed and everything, so it looks really nice. So I was glad that I was able to make somebody else happy with that. But yeah, this is my only remembrance of it, so you have to hold on to it. His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Now again with realism, as with the Hellboy, I did this with watercolor. So this was my my attempt, I guess, to make watercolor markers, watercolor, same thing. But this was my attempt to achieve realism using watercolor. Of course, I'm showing you Hellboy right next to the Dalai Lama. All right, the battle. Okay, so I think I did a really good job of this. So inspired by that, I decided to go in again with the Dalai Lama and use him as an attempt to try to achieve photorealism with watercolor. So I don't know. Do you guys think I achieved it or not? Let me know. This is the Deepika Padukone. I hope I'm saying her name right. She is an Indian actress. She's the hottest Bollywood star right now, and she's just amazingly beautiful. So I thought I would give tribute to Bollywood. I am a big fan of Bollywood movies, I have to admit. Okay, but yeah, I thought I would, give tribute to Bollywood movies and to her because I think she's awesome and she's a great actress. And one of the things with this particular picture is that I changed it up a little bit because the source material just the face and the neck I got from the source material, but in the source material the hair was different. I think her hair was up in a bun or something, and it was kind of like hanging out, like little bits hanging out from the side. I really didn't like that too much for her hair, so I found another picture where her hair was like on her shoulders, and so I used the face from the picture of her hair up, but I used her hair from the other picture that was where she had it at the side. So I think collaboratively it came out very well. Back in the day, when you saw these eyes, you know stuff was about to get real. Okay, this is David Banner about to turn into the Hulk from the Incredible Hulk TV show. This is Bill Bixby. That's the actor who played David Banner. His name is David Banner on the show, but of course we know him as Bruce Banner from the comics and stuff. But whenever he was about to Hulk out, his eyes like got just like that, and it was just like crazy. So I saw this picture online and decided I would try to make it come to life with watercolor. So this was all done in watercolor. Well, thank you everybody for watching. If you're new, I would ask that you consider subscribing. I really did enjoy going over some of my old drawings with you guys. It was nice to just kind of reminisce and share where I started to where I am right now. So thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe and also to click the notification bell so that you can always know when I upload cool new videos. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Wah!